Okay, cool. We are now joined by it is Marc Hackman. He's from ESPN 790 AM, The Ticket, the flagship station for South Florida sports. Marc, thanks for joining us here in Cleveland on WTAM 1100.
Hey, no problem, Nick. How are things going tonight in the rock and roll capital of the world?
Everything's going well. It's probably not as warm as down there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, when I talked with Dan Lebertard today, he said if we want to talk Miami Heat, you're the guy to talk to because you're all over this team every day. So I've got to ask you, what's it been like so far covering them?
Well, I mean, as you can imagine, it's been a whirlwind. It's been a firestorm. It's a volcano of news and personalities erupting all over South Florida and I guess the entire country since July, since it happened. It's been a tornado of action and a sexy team to cover. Definitely a sexy team.
I was talking to a reporter here in Cleveland. Obviously, he was upset, with LeBron leaving. He said, and then Shaq had left too. So he said, "Well, this year," he goes, "I guess we'll be covering a basketball team, not a circus."
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're experiencing something different down here than we've had in a long while. I mean, certainly. You've got a roster like the Heat have put together this season. You're right. It's not covering a basketball team.
Has this 10-8 start for the Heat come as a surprise to you, like it has everybody else?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I don't. I think everyone thought that. Listen, there was banter at the beginning of the season before everything started that this team was going to break the Bulls' record of 72 wins. So, there's that old saying, every dog has his day, and what we've been saying on Miami radio for a while now is that even when there's darkness, one size fits all.
You cover the team, you're around the team, you've seen every game. Can you pinpoint a few things that are going wrong with this team right now? Why aren't they dominating?
Obviously, there's a problem with the boards. They're not crashing the boards the way that you need to. I think Chris Bosh and Joel Anthony and Eric Dampier now and Juwan Howard, Zadrunas Ilgauskas, Jamal Magloire, they haven't been able to crash the boards. So if your shooting percentage is low, and I'm a stats guy, and the Miami Heat's shooting percentage is low. If your shooting percentage is low and you don't get any rebounds, you're going to have a problem. And then there's coaching also. I mean, I probably don't have to tell you the importance of coaching, but coaching makes a big difference in winning and losing.
Marc Hackman joins us. He covers the Heat for 790, The Ticket down in South Florida. This week, Marc, we saw the shoulder bump between the coach you mentioned, Eric Spoelstra, and LeBron James. We'd have to be idiots to think that was an accident. Was it more than just frustration with that bump, or is Spoelstra in trouble?
Well, I don't know. I mean, who's to say if something we perceive as being intentional or you perceive as being intentional is actually intentional or not? I mean, would he? They've got a slew of great assistant coaches on the team. Bob McAdoo and Keith
he's got a good staff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ron Rothstein and David Fizdale and Chad Kammerer. I mean, they've got good coaches. Would LeBron have bumped one of them? That's a good question. I mean, you don't really know, but sometimes things are misunderstood. They're not exactly the Somali pirates, for example. Some would say that the Somali pirates, what they do in the waters off the coast of Somalia are terrible, and others would say, well, no, you just don't understand the economic plight in Somalia. They're forced to do something. So a lot of times we may misunderstand something that other people see a different way.
It could be. I just have trouble with it, and you perceive it how you do, and I do how I do. I just have trouble seeing the guy I've seen throw a needle through a small hole just with the passes that he has. He has the best floor vision I've seen. Such great game awareness. How he could bump into two coaches in the past 4 years the way he did.
I can't argue it. I really can't. I mean,
no, it's fine.
I just talking about it at work. I mean, I've gone my entire life at work without accidentally bumping into someone.
How do you feel about the supporting cast for the Heat? Not LeBron, Bosh, or Wade, but the other parts. Are these guys good enough to be playing championship caliber basketball down there?
Well, they're not right now. They're not right now. They need to start beating some of the good teams before you can say that. But, again, Carlos Arroyo, he's having a nice season. Do they miss a guy like Blake Ahern, or do they miss a guy like Shavlik Randolph, who they waived earlier before the season started? Do they miss a Jamario Moon, who's playing with Cleveland? I mean, yeah, I think that they've got some issues. I think Jamal McGlure needs to step it up. I think Dexter Pittman needs to get some minutes. We need to get Mike Miller out of that business suit and into the uni.
Yeah, he'll definitely help. He'll definitely help.
So that guy can drain some threes.
What's going on with the fans down there, Mark? Up here, we're hearing nobody's showing up on time. There's empty seats after the game starts. Can you put a finger on all this?
Well, Miami's a different place than Cleveland, and Miami's a different place than Chicago and Boston. It's different. I've been down here since 1987. I came down to go to the University of Miami. And it's more relaxed down here. There's a different vibe. There's obviously a very large Cuban population. And you start to, if you understand the culture, if you're down here, you know that if you walk into the cafeterias, the cafeterias, as we like to call them, in Little Havana or Pequeño Havana, as they would say, you'll know that everyone's excited about this team. They may not show up on time for the games, but there's definitely excitement. I mean, my Spanish is not great, but after being down here 25 years, I picked up, and there's a lot of what they call in the cafeterias the hamburguesa con queso, the excitement that comes with a team like this.
Now, I know you didn't know LeBron before July, but when I covered him here in Cleveland, he always seemed like a happy-go-lucky type of guy. To me, at least, and I'm not around as much as you are, but just doesn't seem happy at all, just when I see him. Do you feel that way?
I don't listen. When you're not winning or not winning as much as you should be winning, you're not going to be as happy. I don't think that's a surprise so much to me. I mean, if you're winning by 30 every night and you're 14-4, yeah, I think you're going to be smiling a lot more than if you're playing 500 ball and everyone expected you to be atop the East.
We're joined by Marc Hackman of ESPN 790 AM, The Ticket down in South Florida, previewing tomorrow's game. In your opinion, does Pat Riley eventually come back and coach this team?
I don't think so. I think they're going to stick it. And again, this is nothing more than gut instinct on my part. I think they stick with what they have. I think you'll start to see it turn around. Juwan Howard, I told you earlier I'm a stats guy.
Yeah.
Juwan Howard is known, if you'll go over, I poured over his numbers. He's got many years in the league.
I was going to say, I'm not a stats guy, but I know he's got to be up in the 50. What is he, 50 now?
He's about 66, I think. He's got 27 years with various teams in the NBA. But Juwan Howard, after 20 games, leads the league with fire in his eyes. And you need someone, a veteran leader on a team, to have the fire in their eyes that's gonna take that team to the next level. So Bosh and Bron and D Wade are gonna bring it every night, but you need a veteran leader who has legitimate fire in his eyes that's gonna take his team to the next level, and I think you'll start to see it.
What are you expecting tomorrow, Mark?
That is a good question. That is the $1 million question. That is the $25,000 pyramid. I don't know. I hope first of all we see good sportsmanship out of everyone in Cleveland, the Forest City, I think it's called. Am I correct there? But I think you're going to see a dominating Heat team. This is a must-win game for them. A loss here sets them back, I think, more than 10 losses to teams in the West.
I got to know, Mark, everybody likes covering a good team, so I'm happy for you and glad you get to do so. But when he first made the decision, what were your thoughts?
Oh, elation. Pure elation. It was a party. It was a party in Miami. It was a party in Boca Raton. It was a party in Fort Lauderdale. It was this unifying. It was like a pulsating, unifying, just a sexy beast unleashed on South Florida. I mean, it's hard to comprehend, when you're not down here. Because we know the rest of the country hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the rest of the country hated it, but we were like, down here it was like the old John Cougar Mellencamp song, We Will Rock You.
I know you were excited, and you used the word elation, but what about how he did it? I mean, just try to put yourself in a perspective where you're not covering the Heat, you're not a Miami fan. The way he did it, in your opinion, professionally.
It's hard for me to do that because I am such a Heat fan. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to take I live and die Miami Heat. I eat and breathe Miami Heat. I sleep and I wake up Miami Heat. So it's hard for me to take that part out of it and be objective. So if I have any criticism of his show on ESPN, The Decision, it's of Jim Gray.
Yeah, despicable Jim Gray. Marc,
hated him.
Appreciate the time, and best of luck down the road. You're covering a circus, but it seems like you're enjoying the ride, so best of luck, bro.
Having a great time, and I appreciate you having me on. And as we say here in Miami, gracias and buena suerte, which is good luck to you.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know any Italian offhand, so best of luck. Hey, they found the perfect guy for the job down there. He loves the Heat. Didn't think the bump was on purpose. Man, it sounds like some people in Miami need a reality check. 216-578-1100. 216-578-1100. I want to hear from you. God, that's like talking to somebody who's walking on cloud nine. What do you think tomorrow brings? How pumped are you that we were able to talk to that guy? We'll be back here on News Radio WTAM.